Hey everyone, John Hutchings here with Healthy Edge Rochester. We're in the World Gym Rochester studios, or the back room of the World Gym weight room. You can hear plates clanging and banging right over there. And this gentleman to my right, their left,
Yes.
Frank Gigante.
Frank Gigante. How
Yes.
you doing?
How you doing, Frank?
Good.
Good to
Very
see you.
It's good to see you.
Frank, for those of you who don't know him, and I imagine it's very few of you, he is a local fitness professional, many years in the Rochester community, and a renowned natural bodybuilder. How long have you been bodybuilding?
Competing?
Yeah.
I started when I was 18 or 19. I did my first shows, and then took about a 15-year gap from competing.
Okay.
Continued training, and then I've been back at it for 8-9 years now.
So you're like 75 years old.
Pretty much.
Okay, I was just doing a quick math there. How old of a guy are you?
I'm just turned 45 a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I've been started lifting weights when I was probably about 14. You know, my dad bought me my first weight set right around 9th grade.
Talk to us about that weight set. Was it the old plastic with the
It
cement
was the
on
plastic
inside?
weights with the
I had-
cement.
that
It was
my
a
first
weeder.
weight set.
Yep. It came with the bench. It came with a book of exercises and a little, hang on the wall poster. And that was it. I made a chart, do those exercises.
So that was 30 years ago. We're talking
That was
like
30 years ago.
1985, 86, 87, somewhere in there.
80, yeah,
In the
80-something.
mid 80s.
Yep.
Tell us about your first fitness routine. Do you remember the exercises you used to do? Because I remember mine well.
It was a full body workout. Yep. And I followed what came with the book, and it was, there was bench press, there was leg extensions, there was leg curls, but the leg curl thing always fell.
Oh,
on
you had a
top
leg.
of you.
You had a leg
it had a
curl,
little leg thing
attachment.
but there are no cables, so
Right.
it's just a freeway sign. So you would curl it. If you curled too far, the weight's kicked over onto your butt. You had to shoot them back down.
Right.
It was the narrow bench, so you had to incline, decline. You had some shoulder presses. It was just the basics.
Yeah. Well, that's how everybody starts, I think.
Yep.
I had my bench. I had a bench and a barbell with adjustable plates in the basement. I had to drag it out, work out in the yard, and then put it back away when I was done. And I did all upper body. I did a bench press, I did a shoulder press, I did a bicep curl. That might have been the extent of it. No squats, no legs.
Right.
I went to my barn. We had a barn. I climbed ropes. I had a rope climbing routine, and then I ran 1 mile.
Yeah. I don't remember.
That was for the
any
legs.
squats in mine either.
I ran, and as a result, I think I weighed, when I first started, I was in 10th grade, I weighed about 125 pounds. And I got up to about $145 in high school. Then I started squatting in college, and I put 40 pounds on in 3 months. Squatting is the key.
World.
That was the lesson I took from that.
Yes.
But anyway, it's fun to reminisce about the old
It is.
days of
It is.
bodybuilding. Today, you are 2 weeks out of your last competition. You traveled to bodybuilding shows.
I did.
So this year you did
traveled
Miami?
to Miami, New Jersey, and Rhode Island.
How did you do?
I placed 3rd. I didn't place at Miami, which was the world, which they bring people from
That's DFAC, right?
DFAC, yeah, they come from the UK, Scotland, Germany, Cayman Islands. I mean, they were truly, international competition. And then placed 2nd down in Rhode Island, which was the last one.
2nd. Now, from a competitive standpoint, what do you, I guess prefer is not the right word, but is it better to come in 2nd or just not place? Because you're like right there on the precipice of winning and getting the gold medal, the trophy, whatever it is, and you just get eked out, or is it better just to show up?
I mean, the goal is you want to win. You want to place first.
Yeah.
But for me, once I step on stage, that's out of my control. So, whether I place 2nd or last, 1st, it's the same process. I go to the judges for feedback, and what can I do better next time. So I don't know where I'd want to place if it's not 1st, but my goals are set before I put my foot on stage. So if I hit my goals, that's all I can control.
Right.
So I know once I get out there, I don't know what anybody else has done. I don't know what they look like. I don't know, where they are.
You can never control who shows up.
Yeah, if
You can only
they're
control what you
first
can control.
competition or 100th competition or, how seasoned they are, how good. I don't know any of that. So I can only control my stuff. So once I get on stage, that's out of my hands. I can't say, well, I should have placed first because I look better than him, or
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, you came close. Your last one.
Yeah, I came very close.
You were second place, and that was good.
So
now let's talk about bodybuilding as it relates to the average Joe and Jane,
Okay.
because I mean, you know that this sport has exploded with women's, kind of participation
Sure.
in it. In the bikini class, I see more people, more women going into figure and to physique class.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's kind of evened out. I mean, back when
Somewhat.
I became
it's
a fan
pulled away
of it,
from
there was
bodybuilding. Yeah.
Corey Everson, there was Linda Murray,
Yep.
and I couldn't tell you who. There was Laura Crevalli. There was a few recognizable names, but now there's a plethora of
Sure.
Instagram's given rise. Everybody's their own star. But as it relates to the average person, right? I don't want to disparage average people, but we're all on some level trying to obtain our health and fitness goals. Bodybuilding, I find, is very relatable to the average Joe. Even the person who walks in, and we're in the back room here at World Gym Rochester at 1717 East Avenue, $159 for a one-year membership right now.
That's not the last time we're going to hear that.
No, we might hear it a couple more times. But, the average person that walks in here has a fitness goal, and they might not realize that the very same principles that you're utilizing to maximize and detail your physique are the same principles that they would probably use to, just get in better shape, drop a few lbs, and look better and feel better, right? You are a trainer as well.
Yes.
Your business is called Natural Pro Fitness Coaching. And we'll tag that in one of our next segments. Oh, we've got a couple people.
All right.
My daughter Mackenzie, who I gave you a plug, Mackenzie. It is a nice haircut, thank you. But if anyone has any questions, and if you're wondering what I'm doing here at this camera, I'm looking at our live feed on Facebook. Just chime in. But you are a fitness trainer. Do you find that your experience building your own physique is directly relatable to any person that walks in the gym?
Very relatable, because a lot of times it's a lifestyle. Now competing, yes, it takes it to an extreme, and you're having an end goal of being on stage and that kind of thing. But the rest of it is year-round, just daily living. I need to eat, so does anybody else in the gym.
Right.
We want to look good or train or feel good or lose weight, gain weight, improve for a sport, whatever it is. All of that is very relatable. So when people work with myself and Pete Fountain, and they have a goal of, I want to get back in the gym, or I have a wedding coming up, or whatever it may be, it's just okay. What is your lifestyle like? How do we make improvements to that lifestyle? Which is exactly what I do. I've got two almost teenage daughters.
Right, I wanted to bring that
I
up.
have a full-time job.
I was going to say, you aren't just banging weights all day.
No.
You're a teacher, right?
I am a teacher.
You're a teacher, so you have a day job.
I have a
like the rest of us, us average Joes. You have children that require, attention, probably some taxiing once in a while. You have duties as a parent.
Sure.
So it's not, you're just not lifting weights. So you are, your experience is very relatable to the average person walking in the door, trying to juggle their personal lives and their schedule to fit this in and just make those improvements to reach their fitness goals.
Make it work.
Yeah. Now, do you work out every day?
No.
I mean, so you
No.
actually take days off?
Yeah,
Talk about that.
actually, this will surprise some people, but in the gym, weight training, we do about 3 days a week. About an hour and 20 minutes or so from warm up to walk out of the gym. And then
3 days a week?
3 days a week.
That's it?
And it's partly out of necessity between, my daughter's schedules and things. I don't want to, leave them long at the gym, so I train around their stuff. Cardio, aside from the weight training, I'll do, if I'm not competing, maybe 2 times a week for 10 to 30 minutes. But a lot of times I do that in the mornings in the garage with a jump rope.
Really?
Yeah. Especially like the girls are sleeping in now that they're in high school. They're sleeping in on weekend mornings.
Sure.
We run all week with them. So get up in the morning before anybody's up, take my time in the garage, done. That's about it. Even when I'm competing, I may be doing 4 cardio sessions.
So with that, I guess I'm going to say limited, because I think a lot of people have the impression that this is a 24/7 endeavor to have big muscles and
Right.
have reduced body fat and look a certain way. So you're saying in 3 days a week, you must lift like incredibly heavy weights. You're just moving mountains, right? I mean,
some days.
hundreds of pounds.
Some days those,
Talk about that a little bit. I mean, I think a lot of people walking in the door, and we're coming up on New Year's resolution.
Oh, yeah.
And
It'll
we're
be
going to take a
packed
little
soon.
break here in a minute, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more about New Year's resolutions and how you can help people with some advice there. But I think they think that there's a lot of work to be done. And some days it is.
It
And
is.
some days it's not.
Sure, it's quality over quantity. Like Pete and I spend, hour and 20 minutes in the gym.
Mhm.
In that hour and 20 minutes in the gym, it's all work. And in between sets, him and I aren't talking. Other than how much you want on this end of the bar.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
When we warm up, we chat.
I used to see you guys work out down at
Yeah.
the old DFC.
Yeah. And then
You're all business.
it's time to
Just
go.
getting
It's
after
time to go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We put in the work and we go home, and then we eat and rest and hopefully grow from there.
Right. Well, that's an important component, which is the rest and the growth and the repair
and
from those
nutrition.
workouts.
Yeah. So, and some workout programs, it is heavy, lift at all costs, until it crushes you kind of thing.
Right.
Other times, like right now, it's not. It's not, every set to failure kind of thing. The weights are not super heavy, but the control of the weight is very
It's
controlled.
funny. I was telling these guys, Darren and Luke, that we have a special treat. Frank's going to go out on the exercise floor in one of our segments here. We're going to do some. You're going to get to demonstrate some of these controlled movements that you're talking about. Because I was saying that bodybuilding is kind of like the science of making weights heavier, to make your muscles work against them, whether it's the position, the angle, the speed, the control, like you said. So we're going to get to go out on the exercise floor and do that. So why don't we do this? Let's take a little break, because you mentioned some nutrition, and we want to come back and do a little segment talking specifically about nutrition, how it relates to bodybuilding and the average Joe.
Okay.
We'll talk about Healthy Edge meals by Marty's too.
Sounds
We've got some demo over there. And then after we do that, we'll go out on the exercise floor and get some sets in.
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. That's Frank Gigante, and I'm John H. This is Healthy Edge Rochester, and we'll be right back after these messages. Hey guys, John Hutchings here with Healthy Edge Rochester. We're in the World Gym Rochester Studios. That is the back room. You hear weights clanging and banging. We're in the back room of the weight room here at World Gym. Iconic World Gym.
Iconic.
It's iconic. You've been to probably World Gyms around the world. This is Frank
I had my
Gigante,
first
by the
gym
way.
in the world, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's joining us. He's our guest here today on Healthy Edge Rochester, a renowned natural bodybuilder. I should point out natural bodybuilder. You've been natural since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
All natural. I took a risk there because I didn't know that.
Nope.
When you ask people that aren't natural, if you're natural, that gets awkward. But you've always been natural. Let's talk about that for a second. Then we want to get into some nutrition. We teased it in the last segment. So we're going to talk about that. But as far as bodybuilding goes, do you think how important is it that you pick your parents well? How important is genetics to it? I mean, have you always been an athletic, kind of built guy? Do you have an advantage in that regard?
No, I don't think I have. And I don't think if, you look at my parents, you'd be like, oh, yeah, they're athletic.
Right.
I think, but, genetics does play some role in it, definitely. But, who's to say, what you can achieve genetically until you're there,
Right.
And I never know. I don't know how much further I can go, how much more I can do.
Is that part of the attraction in the bodybuilding game, just to see how far you can take that physique?
It is for me.
Yeah.
That's my goal, when I was young, with the whole natural, not natural. I remember being a teen and you're hearing, oh, so-and-so, there's steroids and, And then I just kind of had that moment of, you know what? I want to lift as heavy as I can and get as big as I possibly can And the moment I decide I need drugs to get there is when I just quit. I want to see how far I can go without all that stuff.
And you've stayed true to that for 30 years.
Oh yeah, it was after that. It was a done deal. It was never an issue. So I wanted, I still want to do the same thing.
So to a degree, thank you to mom and dad. They gave you the blueprint, the DNA, but
Sure.
you have then maximized that and taken it to the degree that you have.
And that's still my goal, is to keep going and see how much further I can take it.
Right. Well, that's a perfect segue because nutrition is part of that,
Nutrition
taking
is
it
key.
as far as you can. Would you say nutrition, this is Frank Gigante if you just tuned in, he is a natural pro bodybuilder. I should point out that you have won a professional card. You were an amateur, you won the distinction, that's how you become a pro, and now you compete in shows for money,
Yes.
right? That show you came in second place, did they give you a check?
Yes.
You got money.
I got money.
He's a professional
There's a prize.
bodybuilder. Yeah, there's a payoff at the end of this.
Sure.
All right, well, one of the things we will talk about probably a little bit more out on the exercise floor is if people do want to get involved in this sport, we'll talk about how they can do it.
Absolutely.
But let's kind of segue back to the food. These are a couple of Healthy Edge meals by Marty's. If you've had Marty's meats on his food truck, they're awesome. Marty's on Park, you can go down and grab lunch or dinner, or they do a great job with their meats and vegetables.
And truck of the year this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're one of the original 2 food trucks in towns too. Poutine is the other one. Those were the first 2 food trucks. So it's talking about DNA. They got it. But anyway, let's just kind of describe what we've got here. This is a Healthy Edge fish meal. That's a tilapia, about a 6-ounce portion of tilapia. It's got some braised kale and some salsa, a mango salsa. So we were talking off camera a little bit. This is a lower calorie meal. The fish is probably about maybe 200 calories. The kale and the salsa is about 20, 40 calories, somewhere in there. This is the packaging it comes in. I would like to point out that we use recyclable containers, which is important to us.
Yes.
Sustainability in both growing our food, harvesting our food, butchering our food. We try to do it local, and then of course let's be good to the planet. But this is a ground beef, rice, black bean, and some cabbage. It's a burrito bowl that probably has about 350 calories.
Okay.
So the description and the plug out of the way. Let's talk about food, how it relates.
Right.
And I also want to talk to our audience about a term known as flexible dieting. Obviously well, it's not obvious, but you do practice that. You've shared with me you practice that. And obviously that's a term that's out there. I think a lot of people have heard about it. We're going to talk about it in a little more detail to kind of tell people what it is. In short, explain flexible dieting for our Healthy Edge audience.
Eating for your goals. It's also called if it fits your macros.
I've heard that.
One of the ways, like you're over here saying, oh, this is probably about this many calories. And people that don't know, a lot of people find an app on their phone, plug in their food, track their food. That way they can do it, make it convenient and a little less sciencey.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done that because I think you and I are probably in the same boat. We opened up that container, we could kind of eyeball it because we've been doing it for 30 years. Right. I've scaled food on occasion. I've looked at the Calorie King. It's like an antiquated, it's not even an app, it's a website. But, it is probably good to mention that there are tons of apps out there that can tell you the calories on any food in an instant.
Yeah.
So if you know the calories in a food, and the macronutrients, we should talk about what macronutrients actually are. Tell us what macronutrients are, and then tell us how we use those to achieve fat loss, muscle gain, and all the things that we're striving for in the weight room.
I mean, all food has nutrients in it. You're looking macronutrients, we're talking carbohydrates for energy, protein, building muscle, repairing cells, and then fat, because you need fat to function. But
Important point, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people think by eliminating fat from their diet, they're going to lose fat, and that's not the way it works.
No.
Okay.
Nope. And aside from those macronutrients, the whole idea of flexible dieting and if it fits your macros, it's not, I can only eat, fish and asparagus 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Or chicken and broccoli all the time, because you're not necessarily meeting all your micronutrients. You need vitamins, you need minerals, you need a balance of those things. Eating that all the time, you're now, you're restricting yourself, and the mental aspects are just, you're doomed to blow it at some point.
Right.
But then also your body's not getting everything it needs. Even though you're thinking, oh, this is healthy. Well, to a point, yeah.
Well, I think you hit on an important point, and that is if you eat the same foods, and I've been down this road where I want to get my body fat down and build my muscle, where I eat those chicken, broccoli, tuna, sweet potato, eggs, and oatmeal. I had 3 meals. I ate twice each a day, 6 meals a day, and I did that for 8 weeks straight. I couldn't eat tuna for years after that because I just, you fall off the wagon.
Sure.
So if you deprive yourself of some foods that you want to eat, the likelihood of you falling off of that diet. We talked about sustainability and how we, procure our foods and our packaging, but sustainability as it relates to our ability to stay on diet is one of the cornerstones of flexible dieting.
Yeah, not a diet.
Right. It's a way of eating where you mix and match based on what your goals are. Mm-hmm. Like you decide, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say, Frank, I want to add 5 pounds of muscle and I want to take off 5 pounds of fat. Mm-hmm. You probably figure out my body weight, my body composition, and say, you need this many calories, this percentage from protein, this percentage from carbs, this percentage from fat. And then it's up to me to use my app or scale,
right,
and or both of them, and figure out meals, regardless of what they were made of, to fit that profile. Is that a pretty good summation of it?
That's pretty much. Yeah. And then, for most people, if they're not going to weigh it, or, even just finding simple things, like if you're cutting up chicken, you grab a handful of, chicken pieces to throw on the pan or grill it. It's about 3 ounces. Mm-hmm. Done. That's about a serving size. So that's what you're looking for.
Hey, you come up with some rules of thumb, basically.
Yeah. And so it doesn't have to be, like, I take things from extreme. I've got my food scale. Mm-hmm. I food prep in bulk for a week ahead, and I'm weighing everything and I measure things depending on my goals. If goals change, so does everything else. So does the nutrition part.
Absolutely. And with the meals in front of us, I think another component that's important is taste. Mm-hmm. And you and I are big fans of Stewart spices. I know you're down there. You might be down there once a week.
I love
Stewart Spices is a local, freshly ground spice purveyor. They have spices, rubs, blends, salts, tons of different salts. So you can add flavor to your food without adding calories in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. Some of their blends have sugar, a little bit, but inconsequential in the grand scheme of things with adding calories. So Marty's helped us create flavorful meals because we want people to be able to eat this way for the duration. Mm-hmm. We don't want people to look at this as a diet, but as a way of eating for a lifestyle. So taste is very important, right? So we should give Stewart Spices. It's stewartspices.com if you want to go online, or they're at 754 Clinton Avenue South. I've got that memorized from my live reads at Healthy Edge Radio.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got that. And Tom and Vicky do a great job down there. Local business owners, go ahead and support them.
Order online, they'll ship it to you.
Absolutely. 2 S's in the middle of that Stewart Spices website. So we've given them a plug. We've given Healthy Edge Meals a plug by Marty's. We've given Marty's a plug. We should plug Natural Pro Fitness Coaching. It's tagged in our Facebook Live segment right there. Let's see. I'm stepping off camera, which is a bad thing. Give 1/2 of it. Okay. Nick wants to, he chimed in. We'll get to that later. If you have questions on Facebook Live, go ahead and chime in. And let's wrap up this segment and go out on the exercise floor and talk about the exercise component. I think we covered the diet part pretty well.
Yeah.
You are also,
fuel.
It is fuel. I do
so
want to get one more plug in
right.
for you because I know you rep like an egg whites brand.
I do.
Talk about that. Look at that camera and give them a commercial.
Egg Whites International. They are a pasteurized liquid egg white that comes in a container. It comes with a pump, which I love because it's measured every time you pump it.
Awesome.
And it's just egg white. It's pure egg white. It lasts in your fridge for up to 4 months. And I started using them. I really like them because it's easy for me to throw it in like a shake. I'll put it in, I'll mix it in with my yogurt at night. It has no taste. It's not like Rocky,
Right.
sucking down egg whites.
Well, if
and you wanna
anyone's
throw-
tried to eat an egg white omelet and you sit there and you pour it back and forth, or
Yeah.
you buy one of those things, you dump it, the yolk holds in the egg.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess. It's a pain in the neck. This eliminates all
this
that.
is nice.
Egg Whites
kinda
International.
like, because I'm tracking macros and
Mm-hmm.
so I know I need just a little more protein, but my carbs and fats are good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I need a pump of this.
A little squirt of egg
And
whites.
I've made a salad dressing with it. Like I said, I put it in with yogurt, some protein powder, maybe some chocolate. Mix it in. It
Very
just
cool.
makes it creamy.
Well, there you go. Egg Whites International.
Egg
What's
Whites
the
International.
website?
EggWhitesInternational.com.
Makes sense. All right. Well, let's go to break. We're gonna when you see us next, we'll be out on the exercise floor. I'm John H. This is Frank Gigante, Natural Pro Fitness Coaching. This is Healthy Edge Rochester, and we'll be back right after these messages. Hey guys, John H., Healthy Edge Rochester. We're on the weight room floor here at World Gym Rochester. We're going to do some arms.
Absolutely.
Now, if you've been watching along, you know that Frank is a professional natural bodybuilder. I personally think his calling card, all bodybuilders have a calling card, whether it's Tom Platz's quads or Arnold. He had the peak on the biceps, right? And he was known for his huge chest.
His chest.
He had everything, but Frank, I think you're known for your arms in the bodybuilding world. That's what I think of. When I think of Frank Gigante, I think of gigantic arms. So tell me how you get those arms. Show me some bicep exercises. We're at the standing preacher curl bench.
Okay.
Not every gym has one of these.
Not every gym has
World
one.
Gym Rochester. Did I mention that we have a one-year membership for $159 right down here at World Gym? I might have.
Might have.
Well, I want to mention it
recall.
again. WorldGymRochester.com. You can sign up online or come down to 1717 East Avenue and get signed up. Look at the energy in this place. Don't you get pumped up still to this day?
Oh yeah, I love
As
it.
accomplished as you are in your profession, as a teacher, as a dad, just anything else that you do in life. When you walk into a weight room, there's an energy,
Oh,
isn't
definitely.
there? That
Definitely.
you can't substitute for.
No. Yeah.
Well, let's show people. I think what I'll have you do is demonstrate.
Okay.
And then coach me up a little bit, because I should mention Frank and your partner, Pete Fountain, they own Natural Pro Fitness Coaching. We've tagged them in the Facebook video that's live right behind me, and you can find them there. So let's go to work.
All right, let's do this.
All right, let's get
so
some peak
standing
contractions.
curls.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. If we're going to work on, as we talked earlier in one of our segments, control of the weight rather than throwing the weight, you want to keep your arms at your side, at least the upper part of your arm. Your elbows don't need to come out in front. You shouldn't be throwing the weight around. So it's more if this part of your arms, upper arm, stay flat against your body. I'm only curling here. So the only thing doing the work then are the biceps.
Right.
Whereas, if I get into super heavy weight,
So there's
now
no
I
shoulder
need momentum to get it going, and then I got my arms coming forward, and the weight's just rocking, I'm dropping. So here I can control it all the way up, and I can control it all the way down. And then it's back up and back down. So it's much more in control, so I'm not using super heavy weight, which sometimes you will, but quality over quantity. So lighter weight, but better control, so I have a slower move up, slower move down.
Right.
Muscles are working harder.
I'd like to point out that this is 40 pounds, and you're going to demonstrate you coaching me. Your arms are probably twice as big as mine. It doesn't matter how much weight you're moving as much as how you move it, right?
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
what you're
And,
kind of
Yeah, if you're
saying in a
building
nutshell.
muscle, you just need to somehow stimulate the muscle, more than what it's used to doing in order to get a response from it.
Well, let me get in
for it
here
to
and
grow.
get a whack at it.
All right.
Coach me up, Coach.
All right.
Frank Gigante,
All right.
Natural Pro Fitness Coaching. I think my biceps are going to improve right now. Tell our viewers at Healthy Edge, what's the difference here with this bent bar? It's got a zigzag to it versus a straight bar. What's the advantage of it?
It's got a little more comfort on the wrist, rather than having your wrist all the way out. And then you've got, the choice of a wider grip, closer grip. just to kind of hit slightly different angle on the biceps.
Yeah, that's another variable with bodybuilding versus just general fitness, right?
Sure.
You're training a bunch of different ways that's just only subtly different just to get every possible detail worked out, right?
Yep.
The average guy
is
just
good.
needs to curl from point A to point B,
Variety is
right?
good.
Yeah. All right, so what's the keys that I'm
All right,
focusing
so
on here?
knees slightly bent,
Okay.
back straight.
Okay.
This part of your arm, since you guys are over here, that part of the arm stays close to your body and it stays pretty tight. And then you're just curling from the elbow up and just squeezing the bicep as you go. Okay, you right it to about there, and then lower it back
So
down.
I don't
under
pull it all the
control.
way in when you see
don't
people
have to
doing
pull
this?
all the way in. Yeah.
Is this wasted motion then? What's
A little
that?
bit. I mean, if you're keeping tension on the bicep, once you get up to there, it pretty much stops. The rest is so.
Well, that's 2
And then
reps in. I'm feeling it.
Yep. If you can control it all the way up, and you can control it just as slow on the way down, your biceps working a hard time. You can see John's biceps working all the way.
Now, are you a grunter? Is that kind of does
Not
that
on
help
purpose.
if you make noise?
If I do, it's not on purpose. But it does.
I've
it
been
does
told
probably
I have
happen
a-
occasionally.
I have a very disturbing workout face when I'm like really exerting myself. I mean, do you make faces while you're
Oh, I'm
lifting?
sure I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of times I'll just close my eyes in the middle of a set because it blocks everything else out, and I just get in the zone.
How important is, I feel that, how important is that, like, to have the mind connected with the movement?
Very. You know, that mind-muscle connection, if your mind can visualize it and see it, and you can feel the muscles working, you know, you're making that connection. Hopefully the synapses, on a physiological standpoint, are firing. You're able to better contract, where if you don't feel it, you don't really know what you're contracting, if you're working the right area or not. So definitely, you know, going through a workout, you don't want to just be going through the motions.
You said a lot of big words there
I
with
did.
synapses and stuff like that, but in short, the more focus you
The more
have,
focused you are, the better your workout,
the better
the
the
better
workout.
results.
Talk about average Joe walks in the gym, wants bigger biceps. Talk about a routine. How many sets of these? How many reps? How many different exercises? What would you generally say for a guy starting out and just wants to get a little more shape to his biceps?
Beginner, a lot of times I'll have guys do 2, or girls, 2-3 sets per exercise. You know, higher reps with lighter weight. You know, maybe 12-15 reps, because I want them to feel the biceps working.
Okay, so in layman's terms, sets are a start to finish group of repetitions.
Right.
So you're saying 2 to 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps in a weight that probably requires what percentage of exertion on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you going like 10? Are you going like moderate, 7, 8?
Yeah, probably 7, 8.
So you kind of hit 12 reps and you go, I probably could do 1 or 2 more, and that's about the right weight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't want people in the weight room, you know, oh, I counted to 12, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you can do that, then you need more weight.
Yeah.
You know, you need a resistance. Like I said, it's going to stimulate growth, you know, for any exercise.
Right.
Whether your goal is to lose weight, gain weight, you're lifting weights because you want to grow some muscle, or you want to, you know.
Right.
So you need to do something besides count reps. You need to make the reps count, is what we tell people.
I think that's a good place to end it. You don't count reps, you make the reps count.
Absolutely.
I love it. I should point out that the other part of Frank's arms that gives them size and shape, is their triceps, and we should have you come back and demonstrate some triceps, because you have great triceps too. But we're about out of time out here. I just want to thank Frank Gigante from Natural Pro Fitness Coaching for being our guest today.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can I mention one more time that we're at World Gym Rochester? We have a 1-year membership for $159. Check them out at worldgymrochester.com. I am John H. of Healthy Edge Media. Like our Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel of the same name, Healthy Edge Media. This has been Healthy Edge Rochester, and we will see you all again next week.